Many people are unable to comprehend that the outside world consists of a totality of perceptions. The reason for this error is a philosophy that has survived since ancient times: materialism. Materialists regard matter as the absolute truth and refuse to believe in anything outside it. Materialists regard the human mind as a derivative of matter and totally deny the existence of God. Some others believe in a plane of existence outside matter, yet they still regard matter as an absolute entity. These are semi-materialists. This error lies beneath such widespread concepts as metaphysics and the supernatural. All these descriptions based on matter are mistaken, because we can never experience the true original of matter. Everything we refer to as matter, we see as perception. Everything we refer to as matter, we see as perceptions taking place in our minds. The famous 18th century British philosopher and bishop George Berkeley sets this out as follows: "We believe in the existence of objects just because we see and touch them, and they are reflected to us by our perceptions. However, our perceptions are only ideas in our mind. Since all these exist only in the mind, then it means that we are beguiled by deceptions when we imagine the universe and things to have an existence outside the mind." Materialists, who deny this fact and regard matter as an absolute entity, must also regard themselves as the little man at the top of the tower. The way that people who think along these lines are unable to comprehend the true nature of the world is revealed in these terms in the Quran. They know an outward aspect of the life of this world, but are heedless of the hereafter. In this verse, the word outward is a translation of the Arabic zahir. The concept of zahir refers to external appearance. In contrast, there is also the concept of batin, meaning the essence of things, which is not externally visible, or their internal aspect. Unbelievers know only the external appearance of the world, which is why they cannot grasp the existence of God and His dominion over all that exists. On the other hand, anyone who understands that it is not possible to experience the original of matter is saved from all these errors and understands the batin, or internal aspect of the life of this world. God has created all things at the level of sensations and perceptions. Imam Rabbani, regarded as one of the greatest scholars in the history of Islam, explains this in his letters. Only God existed, and there was none but Him. When He willed that His hidden perfection should appear, He made each of His names a sign, so that His perfection would be manifested in that appearance. Nothing but non-being is suitable to be the place of appearance for being and its subjects, because the opposite and contrary of being is non-being alone. Accordingly, the glorious God with His perfect might determined in the realm of non-being a sign for each of His names. And He created that sign in the sphere of perceptions and imagination at the time He willed and in the way He willed. The permanence of the world is not at the exterior level, but at the level of perception and imagination. Even at the exterior level, nothing has absolute existence apart from the being and attributes of Almighty God. Even though the Wahdatul Wujud view has deviated from the truth by misunderstanding this reality and rejecting the existence of all creation, great scholar Imam Rabbani set the right measure on this subject. According to Imam Rabbani, all beings are shadow beings relative to God. However, just as we can never reach the material universe, neither can we have full knowledge of its true essence. All we know is the existence of the Creator who brought all these things into being, in other words, God. To express that truth, great Islamic scholars like Imam Rabbani have said that the only absolute being is God, and that all the rest, except Him, are shadow entities. That is because the world we see is entirely in our minds, and to directly experience its counterpart in the external world is totally impossible. It can clearly be seen that the facts unearthed by modern physics and physiology are those already imparted by Islamic scholars, and, what is more, many hundreds of years ago. In the same way that the matter we can experience only as perception has no volume, it also occupies no space. Anyone grasping this fact will be freed from a number of errors. Heading the list of these is the question, where is God? Since most people assume that each of the objects they perceive occupies a specific location, they imagine that God is in outer space, up in the sky, or resides in some other part of the universe. God is surely beyond that. This ignorant belief is described in the Quran, in the story of Pharaoh, who ignorantly claimed that he himself was the Lord of Egypt, and that God was in the skies, and commanded his assistant Haman to construct a tower. Pharaoh said, "Haman, build me a tower so that perhaps I may gain means of access to the heavens, so that I can look on Moses' God." However, since there is no other entity than God, He is everywhere and encompasses all places. This truth is also explained in the Quran. Both east and west belong to God, so wherever you turn, the face of God is there. God is all-encompassing, all-knowing.